طيب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اتبع هداه. أما بعد، فهذا هو الدرس 29 في الكتاب الثاني من كتب المدينة. Inshallah, we will read, even though we previously had started, but we will read, inshallah, just to recap on some of the points. So we need, let's say, 3 readers, someone to read Al-Mudarrisu, and someone to read Mas'udun, and the other one to read Al-Tullab and Amr together. Al-Tullab, Amr and Abdullah. So we have, I think I saw someone put his hand up. Was it Abu Hassan? Yeah, Abu Hassan. And who else would like to read? Habib has got his hand raised. And one more. There you are. Habib, Abu Hassan, and who else is going to read? You put your hand up, inshallah, then I can choose you. No? طيب. أيوة عبد الكريم. خير إن شاء الله. بارك الله فيك. So if Abu Hassan can read Mas'ud, and if Habib can read Al-Mudarrisu, and then Abdul Karim can read Al-Tullab and Ali and Abdullah. طيب تفضل يا أخي.
السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. So who's reading Al-Mudarrisu?
Yeah, Habib, me.
أيوة. Who is it?
Habib.
Habib is reading Mudarris.
Yes.
Abu Hassan Mas'ud, and Abdul Karim is reading Al-Tullab and others. طيب.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. حججت يا مسعود.
مسعود. لا يا أستاذ، حج زملائي كلهم ولكنني ما حججت. مرضت أيام الحج فبقيت هنا بالمدينة المنورة.
فبقيت كده. بقيت exactly. Why? Because this. طيب. So here we already introduced that we have this verb over here. This is the one that is the focus of الدرس التاسع والعشرون, and it's the verb that has 2 letters in the middle which are similar. Afwan, the 2 end letters which are from the same jins, meaning the same type. And as you can see over here, Jim and Jim, they've come together in the verb ahajajta. So the teacher asks the student, have you performed Hajj? He says to him, ahajajta. So just like you would say as a question, and then, for example, you might say ذهبت Here you have hajajta. So ha is the first letter, jim is the second letter, and then there's a jim at the another one as well. So it's actually hajaja. The verb is hajaja. Like over here, the verb is dhahaba. But then when you have the dhamir muttasil, like for example, the mukhatab, the ta, it becomes a hajajta. And this originally, the verb was mabniyun ala al-fath, hajaja. It became mabniyun ala sukun because of the dhamir muttasil, the dhamir is connected to it. Okay, so although we do say dhahaba, because that is the verb and that's easy to pronounce and there's no other alternative. We don't say hajaja because that's difficult to pronounce and there is another alternative. And the alternative is to bring these two letters, these two gems together, to merge them, to merge the two letters together and represent one with a shadda, okay? Or represent them with a shadda to show that this is two letters together. So here he said, La ya ustad, hajja zumala'i. Why did he say hajja zumala'i? Zumala'i is singular or is it plural? Zumala'i is singular or plural?
Plural.
It's plural. So then the verb should be singular or plural?
When we start a verbal sentence, it should be singular, even though
أيوة أخي بارك الله فيك.
plural.
نعم أحسنت. Even if the fa'il is jam', like over here, zumala, because the fi'l preceded the fa'il, it can be in the singular form. This is for the most part, this is how the language uses the verb like that. It comes in the singular form. So he didn't say hajju zumala'i kulluhum. He said hajja, just singular, because it came before the verb. If, for example, he said dhahaba zumala'i wa had, now he wouldn't say hajja in this case after mentioning the zumala. Now he has to use the plural. He would say dhahaba zumala'i ila makkata wa hajju. And he would say that. Or hajja zumala'i thumma dhahabu ila Juddata, for example. Then they went to Jeddah. So but when the verb comes before the fa'il, before the dhikr of the fa'il, if the fa'il is jam', then the fi'il is going to be in the mufrad form. جيد. So this is one of the main parts of ad-dars at-tasi' wal-ishrun, which is showing this fi'il, which is the verb that has two letters the same. And this is known as al-fi'il al-mudha'af. Al-mudha'af basically means doubled. Al-fi'il al-mudha'af. Al-fi'il al-mudha'af is the fi'il that has two letters the same, they are doubled. Okay, so this is the first thing that we have in ad-dars at-tasi' wal-ishrun. The second thing that we have in ad-dars at-tasi' wal-ishrun is this word here. كلهم. عفوا. كلهم. Now, kulluhum, this is a word which is used to show emphasis in the Arabic language. And it comes into the category of a tawabi', something you will learn in book 3, inshallah. A tawabi', these are those words that follow a word and they imitate the pattern. So over here, who did Hajj? Question, who performed Hajj? The answer is
Smalai.
Zumala'i or Zumala'uhu. Zumala'u Mas'udin. Zumala, what is the i'rab of Zumala? Is it marfu', majroor, or mansoob, and why? I'rab of Zumala.
Marfu, mudaf.
Marfu'. Why is it marfu', Habib?
It's because fa'il.
Ahsant, barakallah, because it's fa'il. And the rule, we have a rule. What is the rule? The rule is al-fa'il marfu'. Our rule is, and this stays the same, it never changes. Al-fa'il is always marfu', da'iman marfu'. What is maf'ulun bihi? Is da'iman what?
Mansub.
Da'iman mansub. So these are rulings that don't change. Okay? Like al-mubtada is marfu', al-khabar is also marfu'. Ismu inna is always
Mansub.
no, mashallah. I think Habib is the only one who is revising all this time. The others, you have to build on your previous knowledge in order to, I mean, it's good to attend, and we encourage you always to attend, but you shouldn't intend with the intention that you're going to go over the lessons again anyway, and you have no intention of going to book 3 or to go forward, because you will definitely have to keep on revising the previous lessons in order to keep yourself up to speed and keep your mind ticking, because it's a new language. Any new language takes time to absorb, and practice is key. So Zumala, this is marfu'. Why is it marfu'? Because it is fa'il. These are the ones who performed Hajj, and the fa'il is marfu'. So when we want to show emphasis that which of his colleagues performed Hajj, he said kulluhum, all of them. This dhamma is similar to na'at al-man'ud. Is going to follow the same i'rab as Zumala. He's going to follow the same i'rab as Zumala. Is that clear, inshallah? Hajja Zumala'i kulluhum. Okay, over here you have a kasra. Zumala'i. So why didn't we say kullihim? Why did we say kulluhum? Maybe we get an answer from other than Habib. Is that possible? No.
ممنوع صرف أستاذ.
What is mamnu min sarf?
That's Zamala'i. It doesn't take mansub.
No, not really.
No?
No.
Okay, maybe the second option is mudaf mudaf ilayh. Zumala'i.
So one of the sisters said it's because it's mudaf. The other sister says because it shows it belongs to you. One brother who hasn't got the mic, and I can't give him the mic for some reason. There's an issue with my cursor. I think it's, he said, because it is only kasra, because there's a ya after it. This is the correct answer. There's a kasra here. This kasra is kasratul munasaba. It's because of the ya that comes after it, it's forced this kasra to come here. So the kasra is not kasratul i'rab. It's the haraka, kasratul munasaba, meaning it's um, relevant to the letter that came after it. It's following the pattern of the letter that came after it. So that doesn't change the i'rab. The i'rab is still marfu', and the dhamma of rafa' zumala'u should be. The dhamma cannot appear. It's impossible because of the ya. Relevant to. It's forced. Jid. So therefore, the kasra is not kasra al-i'rab. I'rab is marfu', and the dhamma is mana' min dhuhurihi at-ta'adhur. It's not possible to appear, to display. But it does appear in the na'at. And it also appears in this, in the tabi', in the follower, or the emphasizer. Kulluhum. حجزوا ملائكة كلهم. So this is the second thing in Dars al-Tasi' wal-Ashrun. Then he said, وَلَكِنَّنِي مَا حَجَجْتُ. Again, they're showing you here now, حَجَجْتَ, the letters, they separate. حَجَجْتُ, the letters separate, the two jims separate. But when it's the verb is in its original form, حَجَّ, not حَجَجَ. Then he said, مرضت أيام الحج فبقيت بقي يبقى بقيت هنا بالمدينة المنورة. طيب. Then the مدرس said,
لا تحزن ستهج في العام المقبل إن شاء الله تمر السنة بسرعة.
جيد. لا تحزن, حزن يحزن تحزن نحزن أحزن, is all of فعل مضارع. Then he had لام ولا الناهية. لا الناهية, لا تحزن. Don't be sad that you were sick and your colleagues went and you didn't go. You stayed in Medina. He said, ستحج. So now they've introduced the fi'l mudari'. ستحج. Seen is for the future. This is for the signs of fi'l. And it's specifically for the fi'l mudari'. Then tahujju. So the verb is hajja yahujju. One. Hajja yahujju. Although the origin, if you were to break it down or open it up, you would say the origin is hajaja yahjuju. Are we okay? Are we okay, brothers? Someone's got their microphone on. If you can turn it off, inshallah. Yeah, please pay attention to the microphone, brothers. If there's some background noise in your area, then you can just keep your phone on mute, inshallah. طيب. Hajaja yahjuju. This is the original breakdown. But this is, we don't pronounce it like that. We pronounce it with the shadda. Hajja yahujju, yahjuju, hajaja yahjuju. Okay, and when it is when the fi'l is without a dhamir, in that case, both of the jeems are brought together and they go into a shadda. Okay, and we'll see some of the examples of how they are used when they are separated and when they are brought together. طيب. He said, ستحج العام المقبل. العام means the same as sana, means the year. Al-muqbila means the coming one. Al-muqbil, the one which is approaching. The approaching year or the next year. The meaning of muqbil is approaching. Okay. Then he said, tamurru sanatus bisur'atin. Why did he say tamurru? Why this language? Because marra yamurru. Marra yamurru. Okay, and here, because as-sanatu with ta marbuta is the fa'il, for this reason the fi'l mudari' is tamurru. Naam, ahsanti. The sister said the same thing. This is because it is feminine of sana. The verb is relative to as-sanatu. طيب. Marra yamurru. So this is the same thing. The origin of the verb is marara yamruru. And you can see now how difficult it is to pronounce. Marara yamruru. Marara is difficult to pronounce. So that's why these two will go into one letter and it will become marra. And yamruru, also this is difficult to pronounce, so therefore this will become yamurru. Yamurru. Yamruru becomes yamurru. Okay, but in the case of marra, when you add it to the dhamir, like hajajitu, hajajita, here you will say marartu, mararta, because one is a fatha, the other one is a sukoon, so it's easier to read. So then the letters will become separate again. Okay. Jayid. He said the year will pass quickly. Mas'ud says, who was our Mas'ud? Oh, Abu Hassan is going for Salah, so we need another reader. Numair, go ahead, please. Numair, would you like to make Mas'ud?
Ustad, I have one question first.
Go ahead.
Why is it tamurru and not yamurru?
Aywa. As the sister mentioned earlier in her notes, you didn't see it, but I read him, is because where is the fa'il of this verb? That's my question to you. Where is the fa'il? Like what is going to pass quickly?
Yeah.
Where is it mentioned?
السنة.
طيب, is that مذكر ومؤنث؟
اوكي جزاك الله خير.
The answer is
جزاك الله.
مذكر ومؤنث.
مؤنث.
Is مؤنث. How do you know?
لاست مربوطة.
تاء مربوطة. بارك الله فيك. So that's why تمر is there with the تاء.
جزاك الله خير.
الله يبارك.
مسعود أحججت أنت يا أستاذ؟
So then Mas'ud flips the question on the teacher, and the teacher says, نعم يا مدرس.
Yes, yeah. المدرس لا لم أحج هذا العام لكنني حججت قبل هذا 5 مرات.
قبل هذا
قبل هذا 5 مرات. أنا أشم رائحة كريهة أما تشمون رائحة يا إخوان.
طيب. So the first thing he says is لا لم أحج. And this is the third thing to notice in this lesson. That with al-fi'l al-mudha'af, when you have a jazim, for example, lam, the fi'l al-mudha'af, it cannot finish with sukoon, because technically the sukoon is already being used in the previous letter. Yeah? Hajj, ja, hajj, ja, hajja. There's already a sukoon, and it's in the first of the two letters. Ahujju, ahujju. So the first of those two letters is, they have a sukoon on it in order to facilitate the shadda. So therefore, you cannot have a sukoon on the second jim, because this is iltiqa as-sakinain. And if you have a dhamma, and this is problematic because this is the asl of the verb is marfu', so then there's no change. You can't have a kasra because the kasra is from the specific attributes of the ism, of the noun. Al-fi'l, the verb does not accept a kasra. So what's left? You can't use the dhamma, you can't use the kasra, you can't use the sukoon because of iltiqa as-sakinain. So my question to you all is, what's left to use? Ainam, Omer says fatha, and he's right. And that's the reason why here there is a fatha. Why is there a fatha? Because of lam. Lam ahujja. Lam ahujja. No, I haven't performed Hajj. هذا العام, this year. مفعول فيه. This is why the word am, which means year as well, has a fatha on it. لكنني حججت قبل هذا. I have performed Hajj before this. 5 مرات. 5 مرات. طيب. Then he said, ... أنا أشم رائحة كريهة. أشم comes from the word شم يشم. And he says, I can smell a horrible smell. And he said, أما تشمون رائحة يا إخوان. Do you not smell anything? Can you not smell anything, brothers? So this word shamma also is from the same category. Shamama yashmumu. The original of this, the origin of this verb. Let's get here. Shamma, afwan. If you break it down, it is shamama. And shamama becomes shamma. And this is one letter, by the way. Looks like a long letter. But sometimes you can write, no problem. That's why you find sometimes they say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The ba is very small, and you have two parts of the scene, and you have this long thing going here. And they add the meme at the end. This whole thing here is the scene. Not a problem. So shamama becomes shamma. Yashmumu Yashmumu becomes, answer, Yashammu. Right? And when he puts it in fi'l mudari', he said ashammu. So this is, the two letters are together, mudghama. And also in the fi'l mudari', tashummuna, also the same. But if you were to add a damir in the fi'l madi, you would say shamamtu, shamamtu, shamamta. Okay. Then the students, what did they say? Who was reading? Was reading this? Yeah.
Myself, Abdul Karim. Yeah, it is Bala Nashammuha.
No. So he said, Bala, because the teacher asked a negative question. Ama tashammuna ra'ihatan? Ama tashammuna? So a negative question. Negative question will get a positive answer to affirm. Otherwise, you'll say bala, to agree with what the person said. This is different to English. It's the opposite. If someone says, can't you see it? If you say no, that means you can't see it. If you say yes, that means you can see it. But in Arabic, if someone says, can't you see it? If you say yes, then you mean, yes, I can't see it. And that's why you don't say na'am to a negative question. This is agreeing with the questioner. Therefore, you will say bala. And this is affirming the content of the question in the positive form. So can you hear it? Can you smell this smell? Do you not smell the smell? They said bala nashammuha. Indeed, or of course, we do smell it. The Mudarris asked, what did he say?
Min aina, here.
Where is it coming from? And then Amr says,
Azunnuha minal hammami.
So he thinks the smell is coming from the bathroom. Now here you have this word, adunnu. And this is the same. Dhanna. And if you look at Surah Al-Jinn at the beginning, قُلْ أُوحِيَ إِلَيَّ أَنَّهُ اسْتَمَعَ نَفَرٌ مِّنَ الْجِنِّ فَقَالُوا إِنَّا سَمِعْنَا قُرْآنًا عَجَبًا يَهْدِي إِلَى الرُّشْدِ فَآمَنَّا بِهِ وَلَن نُشْرِكَ بِرَبِّنَا أَحَدًا وَأَنَّهُ تَعَالَى جَدُّ رَبِّنَا مَا اتَّخَذَ صَاحِبَةً وَلَا وَلَدًا وَأَنَّا ظَنَنَّا وَأَنَّا ظَنَنَّا أن لن تقول الإنس والجن على الله شططا. So here, ظننا. So the nouns have been separated. So here he said, أظنها. The two nouns are together. If you were to separate them, then it becomes ظننتم. أظنها من الحمام. This ha, ضمير, where is it pointing back to? أحسنت نمير. It's going back to رائحة. رائحة كريهة. طيب. Then Abdullah says,
نعم هي من الحمام إن الخمامة التي رماها أحد الناس سدت البلوعة سدت البالوعة.
So
Alif is there, so ballu'ata.
hey, there's alif exactly. So he said that the student Abdullah, he confirmed what Amr said. He said, "Hiya min al-hammami." It is from the bathroom. إن القمامة التي رماها أحد الناس. The trash or the rubbish or the waste. قمامة, waste. القمامة التي أو إن القمامة التي رماها أحد الناس. رماها is the فعل. أحد, this is the فاعل of رمى. رماها, رمى is your فعل. أحد, this is your فاعل. And what is ها?
مفعول به.
أحسنت بارك الله فيك. مفعول به. رمى أحد الناس القمامة. This ضمير ها is talking about القمامة. So it's basically مفعول به في محل نصب. He said the trash, the waste that somebody threw down the sink, saddat. This is the verb saddada or afwan, sadada, which becomes sadda. Yasdudu. Yasdudu. Sadada yasdudu. So it becomes sadda yasuddu. Al-balu'ata. He said saddat. Why is there a kasra there? That's the question. Why is there a question there? Why is there a kasra there?
Oneness.
Afwan, I couldn't hear the last comment.
التقاء ساكنين.
Because
Abdul Karim, go ahead.
مضاف إليه الناس سدتي.
Okay, so I'm not sure if I heard you, but the previous brother,
التقاء ساكنين.
the previous brother said iltiqa as-sakinain. That's correct. Saddat with a kasra on the ta. Al with a kasra on the lam. So that have a kasra to move it. Saddatil balu'ata. Al balu'a, it means the mechanics underneath. نعم. Afwan, just remind me what I just lost train of my thought. What was the last point mentioned, please? Who's with us? Al-balu'ata. So this is this is that mechanism under the sink, under the tap, where the water goes down. The drain. And under the drain you have this mechanism. So this thing here, when you throw trash and throw rubbish, and I sometimes tell my children, tea leaves, don't throw tea leaves down there because they will block. And al-balu'ata, so saddatil balu'ata, the waste has blocked the sink, and that is the smell that the teacher can find from the bathroom. He's coming all the way to the classrooms. Then the mudarris, he said,
من الذي دفع السبورة إلى الخلف تعالى يا سعيد وجرها إلى الأمام.
سعيد يجر السبورة. Jarra yajurru. Yeah, this means to drag or to pull. Then the teacher said to him,
سعيد يجر السبورة أنت جررتها كثيرة ادفعها إلى الخلف قليلا يكفي أتركها أنا.
yeah. So Mudarris said, Man alladhi dafa'a as-sabburata. Dafa'a means to push. As-sabbura, as you know, it means the whiteboard or the writing board. Ila al-khalfi. Who pushed it back? Ta'ala ya Sa'idu. Sa'id, come here. وَجُرَّهَا إِلَى الْأَمَامِ. Drag it or pull it to forward. Jurraha. So this is interesting. This is jarra yajurru. And what do we say about, and now we want fi'l amr. What do we say about the sukoon on the fi'l amr, which is mudha'af? How does it reflect? How does the jazm reflect on the mudha'af majzoom? Naam? How does the mudha'af majzoom, how does it show? Does it show with a sukoon, with a fatha, with dhamma, or with a kasra?
With sukoon.
Naam. We said it cannot show with a sukoon because the sukoon is already there on the first of the two double letters. Hajja, marra, sadda, and the same here, jurra. So you can't have two sukoons. So for that reason, as you can see, or you may not be able to see, some of the students, the brothers and the sisters, they said it finishes with fatha. So fi'l amr is jurra. And here he said, تعال يا سعيد وجرها إلى الأمام. Pull it forward. So this is فعل أمر. Because how do you make this فعل أمر? You have to remove the فعل مضارع and change it to مجزوم. And مجزوم in this case is with fatha. And you don't need to add the alif at the beginning because already there's a dhamma on the jim. So no need for anything to make it work. So jurra is the fi'l amr. Then after Sa'id finishes pulling the board, the teacher said, Anta jararta, because now the damir is there. He said, now the two ras, they separate because one is a fatha, one is a sukoon. He said, jarartaha, anta jarartaha kathiran. Idfa ha ila al-khalfi qalilan, push it back slightly. Yakfi, that's enough. Utrukha al-an. Leave it now. So fi'l amr, idfa. فعل أمر أترك, and one more فعل أمر, where is it? On the page in front, of us, where's the other فعل أمر that I pointed out? إدفع, I pointed out. أترك.
Jor.
أحسنت. And the other one is جرّ. جرّها, this one here. أحسنت, بارك الله فيك. طيب. We will stop there, inshallah. And بإذن الله تعالى continue next Wednesday from this point, where he said, هذا هو الجزء الثاني من الكتاب يا أستاذ. We'll continue from there بإذن الله تعالى in our recap lessons, inshallah, once a week over the next few weeks, since I'm not settled in one place. Right now I'm traveling. So بإذن الله تعالى next Wednesday at the same time, inshallah, we will squeeze another lesson in. والله أعلم وصلى اللهم وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
جزاك الله خير. السلام.
So one question says, how long is the duration of the lesson usually? It's approximately 45 minutes. No, but since we're only doing it once a week and there's no prayer times coming in the way, then it may go towards 1 hour. But generally 45 minutes to an hour. And this brother, anonymous attendee, you would need to add your name to the actual lesson, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
جزاك الله خير.